What is up, guys? So the CW released a new trailer for Arrow Season 8 yesterday, and this trailer is fairly lengthy. It's a whole minute and a half long, and the entirety of the trailer is all new footage, and even a little bit more than that, as Oliver does monologue over the trailer, a little bit teasing Crisis on Infinite Earth. So there's a lot to break down in this trailer, a lot more than in the last trailer, which is only like 10 seconds of new footage. This is like 9 times that. It's 90 seconds of new footage that I will break down in this video. So with that in mind, let's just get into the breakdown. I will say that the reason I didn't make this video yesterday is because they released this trailer literally the exact same minute I already posted a video, and I just didn't have time to make this video yesterday, so I'm posting it today. With that in mind, let's watch parts of the trailer, not the whole thing, it's too long to show here, but let's just show like maybe the highlight of the trailer and then break it down.
The only way that this is bearable for me is if I am certain my sacrifice, my death, will protect the people I love. There is a crisis coming.
We're facing the destruction of pretty much everything.
Good luck.
Okay, so first thing I want to talk about this trailer is all the shots that seem to be direct homages to scenes throughout the show, mostly from Season 1, because the first episode is going to be an homage to Season 1. Apparently, Episode 2 and 3 are both going to be homages to Season 3. I don't think that season deserves to have 2 homages, like 2 episodes that are both homages to that season. Either Season 1, 2, or 5 should have that. Either way, in this trailer, we see 6 shots, or at least I noticed 6 shots, that seem to be like copy-paste from other scenes or shots we've seen in previous episodes, in previous seasons. So first there's a shot of Oliver seemingly going up against the Dark Archer on Earth-2, and the Dark Archer is blown up by an explosive arrow the exact same way the Dark Archer was in the season finale of Season 1. I mean, you can see this parallel here. They look exactly the same. Another shot sees Oliver dropping down from chains in a wet room. This does look exactly like a shot from the Season 1 finale. Another shot from that episode where Oliver goes down from the chains in the wet room where Malcolm Merlyn was chained him up in. It looks like a direct shot, and it looks exactly the same. Another 2 shots is seems like a Green Arrow is fighting the Dark Archer. I'll go into more detail on that because of who the Dark Archer is in this universe, but there's a shot of the Dark Archer kicking Oliver, which looks exactly like how Malcolm kicked Oliver in Season 1 in the second to last episode of the season. Not to mention that this fight is in Merlin Global, just like that fight, and while the Dark Archer is wearing his costume, everything other than that is seemingly exact same, as there's another shot that looks pretty similar to just the fight of that episode. There's also a shot of Oliver waking up in a bed with a ceiling fan over him, which looks exactly like a shot from the Season 2 finale in the flashbacks, where Oliver woke up in Hong Kong, and since Episode 2 is titled Welcome to Hong Kong, I'm guessing that shot is from that episode. Finally, the last shot of the episode shows Oliver seemingly in a hospital saying, "Hello, Mom," which is exactly what we see in the first episode of the show, where he returned from the island, and in the hospital he said the exact same thing, also wearing the exact same thing as well, just a white shirt. So that's 6 images from this trailer, 6 shots that seem like they're literally copy-paste from previous shots in the show, mostly from Season 1, because this trailer is mostly from Episode 1 of this season, and I think that is something they were really going into in this season. If you noticed any more shots, definitely let me know in the comments down below. These are just the 6 that I noticed. So getting into the actual breakdown of the trailer, it starts with Oliver in Queen Mansion, which is not a news or anything. We already knew that this was going to happen, and this is definitely the Queen Mansion of whatever universe he's on, which I'm guessing is going to be Earth-2. I'm like 99% sure that Oliver is going to Earth-2 in the first episode, but I wanted to talk about this because there were some promo images that I never talked about in a video showing Oliver in Queen Mansion. Tommy is there, also Moira is there, but probably the most surprising thing that is that Malcolm Merlyn is there as well. But not only that, but it seems like Malcolm Merlyn and Moira in this universe are actually married, or at least still together at this point, so that is definitely something that will be addressed, and that's definitely something that I think is pretty interesting. So, a couple seconds later, like 8 seconds after the trailer, Oliver, over the trailer, starts to monologue, and this has nothing to do with the shot, so I'm going to talk about it separately. I can't really talk about it simultaneously, but this is the only tease we get for Crisis on Infinite Earth in this trailer, even though the entire season is basically a lead-up to the Crisis, even though the entire season, other than being an homage to Arrow in the first 7 seasons as well as the final season, is a big build-up to Crisis on Infinite Earth. This is the only line or shot or anything we get teasing that crossover, but Oliver says that the only way that his his sacrifice or that his death won't be unbearable is if it protects his family. And then he also says a crisis is coming, and Diggle follows. We're basically facing the ending of everything, which is definitely a very, very, I think, cool tease to Crisis on Infinite Earth. It's the only one we get in this trailer, so it's like, again, all we got. But I still think, even though it's really short and there's no real footage, it still is a great tease for that crossover, and I'm definitely very excited, as I think probably the number one thing I'm excited for in this season is the build-up towards Crisis, or at least Oliver's quest in going up until Crisis. I mean, that's definitely going to be the best part of the season, so the tease here is definitely a good one. So this shot of Oliver actually in Verdant. Now, I didn't know that this was he was going to go to Verdant. I don't know they were turning to Verdant. I mean, I feel like there would be news that they're going back to that location or something, but this is actually pretty interesting because it's very possible, in my opinion, that this kind of confirms why Oliver is going to Earth-2. Now, we already know that Earth-2 has several heroes like Jesse Quick, Black Canary. Oliver will definitely be recruiting Black Canary, possibly Jesse Quick, although I find that unlikely, as it would probably be confirmed that she would be appearing. Also, it would probably be the Flash that would be recruiting her, and he's not going to Central City, he's going to Starling City, but there is another hero in Starling City, and that is the Earth-2 version of the Hood, who is Robert Queen. His identity is public, and he still is probably the Hood, not the Arrow or the Green Arrow, but the reason that Oliver is probably going to Verdant is because he's looking for Robert Queen, and considering he's still the Hood, it makes sense that his HQ would still be under Verdant, and that's probably why Oliver is going there. I'm guessing this will be early on in the episode, or early on in his journey through Earth-2, as this seemingly is where he meets Tommy Merlin, and that leads him to Queen Mansion, where he again meets Moira and Malcolm Merlin, although it seems like he maybe meets Moira in the hospital, which I don't know how that connects at all, but I still think it's very interesting how Oliver is going to Verdant. I think that pretty much confirms that he's here to recruit the Hood, as well as other Earth-2 heroes. So there's a bunch of shots, not really giving anything away. That is until 30 seconds into the trailer, 36 seconds actually, where we see the confirmation of a returning character, and that is the leader of the Thanatos Guild, Athena, who is not exactly a character that I'm excited to see returning, not because she's bad, just because I don't really care about the character very much. I am still interested in the storyline going on here, and I'll talk about that more when we see more shots in this trailer with Thea and Talia al Ghul and characters like that. But this shot right here does confirm that Athena and probably the entirety of the Thanatos Guild, the villains for 2 episodes in Season 6 when Roy returned, and then Thea, Roy, and Nyssa all left to destroy Lazarus Pits all across the Earth, are all returning in, I'm pretty sure, Episode 3, as these shots where we see the Thanatos Guild and Thea and Talia really, really seem like, you know, the League of Assassins-esque, so it kind of feels like this is going to be the homage to Season 3, but then again, they did appear in Season 6, so it might be Season 6 as well. So yet again, a whole bunch of shots showing Oliver going up against a couple people, showing also flash forwards. Now again, I don't really care about the flash forwards, but I really like the editing of this trailer. I think it's really cool, but we do see a shot of Oliver and Diggle showing up in seemingly Laurel of Earth-2's house to recruit her, and based off this shot, based off everything we know so far, I think that it's not going to be Laurel that Oliver teams up with in this season. It's actually Diggle, because it was confirmed a while back that it won't be the Monitor that Oliver will be teaming up again with in this season, going around in his quest and his journey. It's actually going to be another character, and based off everything we knew about the season, I thought it would be either Diggle or Laurel, and I thought it maybe be Laurel because Diggle has storylines he could have in Star City, while Laurel on Earth-2 doesn't really. But after the recent confirmation of a new TV show starring Katie Cassidy, Julianne Harkavy, and Catherine McNamara, probably set in the future, which again, I'm not exactly excited for because it is set in the future, don't really care about it, but I think that they're probably going to set up that in this season, and I think Laurel will probably be returned to Earth-1, which is why Oliver and Diggle will be the characters who go around the universe and the multiverse, or at least I know, Diggle will be helping out Oliver and not Laurel. I think it would have been cool for it to be Laurel because, one season of Oliver and Laurel, or the Black Canary and the Green Arrow teaming up with nobody else, I think that could have been pretty cool, and it wouldn't even be more cool if Arsenal was there as well, because that is basically my ultimate Team Arrow, Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Arsenal. But still, with Oliver and Diggle, it probably will end up being pretty cool, especially if, Diggle gets his Green Lantern ring, if that ever happens. So in the first trailer for this season, we saw a fight between the Green Arrow and another Archer in Queen Consolidated in one of their buildings. In this trailer, we get a better look at this fight, and I thought that was probably going to be the Green Arrow versus the Dark Archer of this universe, but that turns out to be not the case, as this other Archer seems to be the Green Arrow of this universe. You can tell by the fact that his arrows are green, and he does not look like he's wearing the Dark Archer costume. He looks like he's wearing the Green Arrow costume. Now, who this character is, I don't really know. I mean, the Green Arrow or the Hood or the Arrow or whatever his name is of Earth-2 is Robert Queen, but he has not been confirmed to be appearing in this episode. This could be like, a surprise that they're keeping, or maybe not, but the fact that he hasn't been confirmed, the fact that this guy just doesn't look like Robert Queen based off these images, I don't really think this is going to be Robert Queen. I hope it is, because I think Earth-2's Green Arrow should be Robert Queen, if again, this is Earth-2, and that could be really interesting. Similarly to, Thomas Wayne of Flashpoint's timeline being Batman, that could be a very interesting dynamic, but based off these shots, I just don't think it's Robert Queen. So who it can be, I don't know. Maybe Tommy Merlin, but I suspect he's the Dark Archer. Maybe Adrian Chase, because we don't really know who he is in this universe, or Simon Morrison. I think that is slightly possible, and that would be really cool, because that means he's a superhero, and that means he will probably be returning in the upcoming crossover, but I do think that Adrian Chase of Earth-2 could maybe be Vigilante, because Adrian Chase is Vigilante in the comics, but honestly, at this point, if this isn't Robert Queen, which I doubt it is, then I do not know who this is, but I think it's either Tommy or Adrian. So this trailer does reveal one thing about the flash forwards, and that's the fact that John Diggle Jr. seemingly is Deathstroke in the future. I'm pretty sure they reveal that he's the leader of the Deathstrokes, if that's even their name, in the last season. Honestly, I have a very vague memory of what happened in the flash forwards in the last season, but I don't like the idea of John Diggle Jr. being not only a villain, but actually Deathstroke. I don't like the idea of that. Deathstroke in the future, if there is a Deathstroke in the future, should either be a member of Slade's family, or somebody that Slade trained, or I think better yet, Slade's grandson or something like that, like maybe the son of Grant Wilson or Rose Wilson or Joe Wilson, something like that, or maybe even the daughter. Anything would be better than the son of John Diggle Jr. being Deathstroke in the future. I'm just not a fan of that. Also, I don't think he should be a villain. I don't think that the son of John Diggle being a villain, it makes much sense to me. I just think that the future is too grim and dark with what we're seeing. Hopefully with the crisis it will be reset, but I really doubt that, so that's like one of the most disappointing things to me, not only in the upcoming season, but in the show overall, and a part of that, John Diggle being Deathstroke, I'm just not a fan of. So then we see a shot of Thea Queen. Now this is probably from episode 3, and I am definitely very excited to see this character return. She didn't appear at all in season 7, except for like one episode where she appeared in like an interview or something in that documentary episode, but that doesn't really count. So I am definitely excited to see her return. It doesn't seem like she's wearing her Speedy costume in this episode, which is fine, but I definitely think if she returns in the Crisis, she should definitely wear that costume. I'm just definitely excited to see this character return. Not only her, but I am excited to see Talia al Ghul return, who I think was a great villain in season 5, and also her return to season 7 was pretty damn awesome, and I'm definitely excited to see her return in this episode, in the Crisis possibly, and maybe even in Batwoman, because I definitely think that her appearing in Batwoman would very much fit. So then there's a shot of Katana wearing her mask. We haven't seen her in a very long time. I mean, there are so many characters returning in the season, and I'm glad they're getting all these characters back. And Katana is certainly one that I'm anticipating to see back, as she's returning in episode 2, and probably in the upcoming crossover as well. So then there's a shot of the Green Arrow going up against the Dark Archer in Merlin Global, probably on Earth-2, 100% basically copying, paying homage to the second to last episode of Season 1, where Oliver, as the Hood, went up to Merlin Global and fought the Dark Archer. Although Merlin was not wearing his costume, this is basically shot for shot the exact same thing, except for the costume. Now the question does remain, who is the Dark Archer, and also, who is the Green Arrow? If this is Earth-2, then I'm expecting a Green Arrow to be Robert Queen, but it could also be someone like Tommy Merlin or Adrian Chase. But based off these shots, considering they're in Merlin Global, and I doubt they're going to make Malcolm Merlin the Dark Archer of Earth-2, because this is an alternate reality, it'd be boring to have the same exact character as the same exact villain. So I'm guessing since they're in Merlin Global, the only other option is Tommy Merlin. So this means that I think the Dark Archer of this universe, like in the New 52 comics originally, Tommy Merlin is the Dark Archer, and Adrian Chase could maybe be the Green Arrow, or if there's a surprise that Robert is appearing in this episode, then it's probably Robert Queen. You know, if Robert is the Green Arrow, Tommy is the Dark Archer, that's basically a switch from Oliver being the Green Arrow and Malcolm Merlin being the Dark Archer, because it's basically the exact opposite. So that's something that I'm definitely excited for, to see the Dark Archer and the Green Arrow of Earth-2. This is a shot of Diggle in Hong Kong. I mean, I think this is Hong Kong based off the lighting, based off the people there maybe looking Asian, although I can't 100% tell. But this again confirms that it's Diggle who's going around with Oliver around the multiverse and the Earth, not Laura Lance, and Laura will have some other storyline. And the trailer ends with Oliver in hospital meeting his mother from Earth-2, and it's definitely, like I said earlier, paying an homage to one of the first scenes of the show ever when Oliver returned and was in a hospital. Now, Oliver does say that history is repeating itself. I don't know if he means that because, you know, he just notices that things are happening like in a very similar way to how they've happened in the past, or maybe he's just directly talking about one thing repeating itself, and I think that that might be the Dark Archer undergoing the undertaking in his universe. Tommy Merlin is probably about to complete, if it is Tommy Merlin, he's about to complete the undertaking a lot later than the Earth 1 version of Malcolm Merlin did, like 7 years later, but that is probably what's about to happen, and Oliver needs to stop it, but he says history is repeating itself, because obviously the exact same thing happened in Season 1, so that is the entirety of my trailer breakdown for this trailer. I think it's a great trailer, a lot of great new footage, the editing in this trailer is great, and I'm very excited for this season, that is except for the flash forwards, but let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below about what do you think all these shots mean, what are you most excited for in the season, and if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.